clearly not here physically.
These are online. Any declarations of interest? No. Moving on to page 4, confirmation and non-confidential minutes from 28 May 25. Mover and Rob.
I'll second it.
Seconder Debbie.
All those in favour?
All in favour?
Aye.
Action register, page 11. We've just got one action, staff to provide information in relation to engagement with Ngāti Onioni regarding the Port's twin berth expansion, so that's not due till November, so it's still in progress. Page, yep.
Can I just ask for the clarification that the item is the heavy vehicle route? I'm wondering what that's got to do with the twin berths operation. And I thought the twin berths have just been completed. So I'm just wondering, this is due in November, and I was trying to work out when I was first around what that had to do with the heavy traffic route update. Is it anyone?
It's probably not going to change that route, is it? Or it is changing from Ormond to Puni, so it's still going to be trucks.
Except there's something about the roundabout.
Yeah, I
Oh,
think.
the corner, eh?
Yeah, because they need more land to make that big roundabout to turn off to the port. Just guessing.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what the direction was then.
Yeah, because it's sitting with Jean's group, isn't it? So
Oh, right, yes. So,
Yeah, if you can just do a query.
Yep,
yeah,
sure.
Like an email.
yeah.
Page 12, governance work plan. We've got one item for today. 24-25 Regional Land Transport Monitoring Report. Anything on our governance work plan? No leaves of absence. Any acknowledgements or tributes? No input. Petitions today, no extraordinary business, no notices of motion, no adjourned business. Okay, yeah, quick meeting today, I think. We've got 2 information reports today. First one on page 13, Tina, Regional Land Transport Plan Annual Monitoring Report. Give us a rundown.
Sure. So, yep, this is year 1 of the 2024 RLTP annual monitoring report of that plan. Further detail of the work can be found in other reports that we've listed out in this report. Recovery is still a significant part of the program, along with resilience planning, which is being reported at next council next month. And there's some ministerial reporting which was embedded after the 2024 RLTP was approved. So reporting for this is still managed through the Transport Online Investment Portal and Insights Portal. And attachment 2 to this report is output from that from the group who oversee that reporting and have set that sort of thing out to all RCAs. So yeah, there's not many improvement projects to report on, but we do have some resilience projects, about 3 million worth of those that have started. We've got new bus contracts and routes that have happened this year, and the national ticketing system is a little bit delayed, but that's due walking and cycling and safety projects funding was significantly reduced, compromising a lot of the RLTP delivery. Performance monitoring. And monitoring results will be analysed in the lead up to the 2027 RLTP development of that. So yeah, a lot of national data is peer reviewed, so this is a little bit of a info dump, but I hope to be able to analyse it a bit better. Yeah, and noting that there was a bit of a tight turnaround for this annual report. It's only due kind of a week after the end of the financial year, so some of the information data was a little bit hard to get, especially things like DSIs that take a while to settle after an annual. I've made mention of the Freight Case for Change, which is a group of Lower Rana Regional Council staff working together for a common cause just to get better data around freight for the next RLTP. And I've also, there's also discussions ongoing with evidence packs that NZTA have created. We're feeding back through the special interest, Transport Special Interest Group for that. And also on regional reporting more consistently through Transport Insights. So I'm on the new group for that as well. Just thought I'd mention that.
That's great.
Awesome.
Thanks for that. Any questions?
Yeah. Just on page 13, there's just a comment there. On page 13, that the recovery work due to emergency works continues to place pressure on the delivery of program work. I'm just a little bit, not so much nervous, but when we talk about our program work, I presume that's our program maintenance work across our network, and the emergency work is something that comes up, which is normally funded through emergency money. I just don't want to end up in a position where we get to the end of this thing and our maintenance work is way behind track because we keep, I don't mean incentivising these contractors to jump onto the emergency work, but it's a situation that can happen. So I just want to make sure that I like to think that our program work that's locked and loaded, that's what their contracts are, and any emergency work, if we have to bring other people in to do that we stick to that. I don't know, is that something I just read that and I sort of thought,
Well, through the chair, I'm not, Tina drafted it, so maybe she can clarify, but I do say that emergency works presents an incentive. It's a condition precedent. It just exists because it's a part of any contracting ecosystem will gravitate towards capital. So that's a condition precedent. It's not an easy way around it, but our works programs and maintenance are programmed. We are monitoring them, and the interest in providing works for emergency providers, we're trying to lean towards ones who are good in the maintenance space. So we're trying to use that incentive for improved maintenance as well. So if you maintain well, you get emergency works. That's something we're heading towards. But as soon as you've got a source of capital, there's an incentive there for different behaviours. That's just natural in our environment. And with a base load of work across the region in recovery, there's not that much elasticity in our existing market. So I think, but this year so far we're on track with our maintenance, and the budgets are constrained anyway. So the constraint's more the budget than actually the amount of ability to do the work. That helps.
Yeah, I probably have to make that very clear. I mean, I should probably clarify that in the next report like this. But we've we were okay, as far as I know, we're meeting our targets and,
We are meeting our targets.
yeah, like, well, further down, I think with the resurfacing and rehabs and things like that.
The drainage and everything is being
Spending the money, yeah. Yeah, and but it probably needs to be written a bit clearer. Yes.
I'll just add to that in terms of when we talk about the pressure, there's obviously the fiscal and then the contractors environment, but also in terms of the size of the team we have within house to deliver that increased scope of work. So that's, when we talk about the pressure, that's another factor as well. But we will be a bit clearer in the next report what the particular pressure points are, so you can understand them a bit better.
Any other questions?
Another one. And just on page 17, just on the ministerial reporting, where it's now required to report on temporary traffic management and potholes. Are we able to get these reports being done and sent to the ministry? Are we able to have copies of that to see what we're saying is happening, and or is it actually being done? Like it came in and it said it was going to be a requirement, but we haven't seen anything that's actually real that says this is what we've done or this is what we're doing.
Yeah, I kind of would be what the attachment from Reg would be more about, but when I read it, I thought it wasn't very clear. I've seen clearer, but it's kind of being reported nationally, isn't it? Like, not individually. Like, I've seen it rolled up and reported that way to them. Yeah. So they're kind of grabbing our data, and I'm not sure how to turn that around and bring it back. Yep.
So I can add some context. They're two different things. So the letter that you've got there is an initial baseline that is showing the performance of your council year to date against your peer network and against the national. So it's to give you a bit of an idea overall of your performance and to support your council officers internally with your chief executive to have a look at what's working and what's not, and we'll begin to provide more and more of that data through the Reg Forum. Your question about ministerial reporting, clearly your team are providing that. They've provided it now for the third quarter, so they can quite easily furnish you with the information that they're submitting. All of the reports have to be made available online as well. So yes, we do have to send a summary report to the Minister to update on what is being spent on both maintenance and capital or improvement projects on the state highway network and the local roads. And you'll have seen some of that well covered in the media around the percentage of spend across state highways and local roads. So again, that would give you a decent baseline as to, for local roads right across the country, the percentage for maintenance and for improvements is this much on TTM versus what your officers are already submitting to NZTA on that basis. We don't provide granular details on our website in terms of each individual council, but that information is available either from your officers or can be drawn out of our system through the Reg Forum. So absolutely, you can get that if you're not already getting it. But
yeah, I can add that as well to them.
Just to clarify as well, in terms of the terms of reference of this committee versus ops, that type of information might be better to be provided as part of the transport updates for the operations, given the granularity of it. And we can keep the higher level strategic outcomes part here in terms of how it connects through.
Questions? Rob, we'll carry on with you. Come back.
I actually want to, I'm on the same track as Rob today. I'd also underline potholes on page 17. And just seeking the same thing really, and I hear you saying that you'll bring it back to operations. But in particular, I have a couple of hotspots that I travel over, and I've put in 3 requests for service to fix these potholes, and 100% they've been fixed every time, straight away. Cannot complain, but I'm just looking at them again on the way to work and thinking I'm going to have to put in another one for the same potholes. One of them at the top of the Balance Street Hill that is dangerous if you have to do the chicane. So what I would like to know in that pothole report that we get back is the repeats, and when does someone say, actually we need to do something here rather than keep filling these potholes? Is that possible?
Yeah, we've provided some info in the past, and we can definitely, I'll speak on behalf of the Poor Journeys team, and we can provide that context as part of that operations report, because there are sometimes different reasons as to why there could be a failure and a repeat.
Thank you. And this would be our last Regional Transport Committee meeting, isn't it? It is? Yeah. That's all I have on this. Thank you. It's a great report.
Thank you. Through you, Chair. More just potentially an administrative point we'll go with, but in the Transport Priority 3, just in... gosh, I'm on a printed one, so I'm not sure. 24 or 47 or 5, I think it is in the document. So your priorities, the table at the bottom. Just regarding items 3.3 and 3.6, potentially with how it's framed up, we've just got a question as to whether the work programme status is in fact reflective or will achieve the investment priority. So we just encourage officers to link in with our team just to make sure that we're clear on that. So for example, the East Coast Connectivity Interregional PBC is not inherently linked to delivering urban bus links, for example. So just want to make sure that you're getting the right information on the work programme and how that is helping your priorities. And similarly on 3.6 as well, but it might just be a framing thing. So for the next report, just maybe clarify that would be great. Thank you, that's all from me.
Any other questions? Yeah, so it's just an information paper. Got a mover and Councillor Gregory.
Yeah, possible.
Secondary Councillor Telford. All in favour? Okay, so we'll move on to last paper for today.
It's going to be short and swift, isn't it?
So page 40, NZTA Waka Kotahi regional updates. Linda.
I'll have a quick run through. So while we were talking just a moment ago about year 1 of the 24-27 NLTP period, we're already thinking about now the key dates and milestones for the preparation of the next NLTP for 27 to 30. So there are a few key dates in there, particularly officers will be well across the detail and what's required, but for us, for future work planning as an RTC, that we will need to begin to factor into our work programme once council's back up and running on the other side of elections. I think key to note though is that we're all focused already on getting towards the approved and submitted RLTPs by 31 July, so almost 2 years away in 2027 is when they have to be done. So your officers will begin to commence work on planning for the next NLTP period towards the end of this year. Seems extraordinary. We're only just into this one and we're already thinking of the next. But really important, particularly for you from a local share perspective, to begin to consider that through your long-term planning and your annual budget process. Change of tact altogether, safety cameras. We've had a few updates on this one. Can confirm that now all safety cameras right across the country are now managed by the New Zealand Transport Agency rather than the police. And you'll also as well notice there's a bit of a change to the look and feel of the mobile safety cameras. Don't think you've got any fixed ones on your network, but you'll see them if you're travelling in other parts of the country. The fixed speed cameras have all now got signs indicating where they are to give drivers notice that there is a safety camera in place, whereas mobile cameras, be that the SUV or the trailers, will just appear. And also noting that the SUVs come in a variety of different colours, makes and models, so not perhaps as easily identified as the historic vans that we've become accustomed to. They're not going to be hidden, but they're not going to be marked. We have seen as well that, as you'll all be aware, the mobile cameras are one of the most effective deterrents to speeding. Speeding drivers can expect a ticket to be issued by NZTA, and police will carry on with their on-road enforcement activities. The next one's coming in Gisborne. I think they will be starting off in a couple of days. 1st of August, yes, is the date that they will be arriving. First of all the SUVs, and then we gradually will roll out the trailers. This one's come up a number of times, and super pleased to see in your report that you, as an RTC, and your officers are already using the new dashboard that's been launched. There was a great session at the Local Government New Zealand conference on the benefits of using the dashboard. And what it does is it provides your council officers, and also as well, you know, in terms of their reporting to elected members, with some insights, data and insights into key metrics about performance, and particularly about your pavement performance, so the quality of your network, how that is tracking over time, but also as well benchmarking it against peer networks as well, so that you can see where you're performing well or above other parts of the country, and perhaps where there's areas that you might want to consider some further attention to. It's a really quite user-friendly, even if you're non-technical like me, there's quite a good explanatory notes in there, and you can see some of that in the one-page report that your officers have included. The Reg Group will continue to update and refine both the data that's utilised, but also as well the insights that it provides to help make better decision making when it comes to your asset management and maintenance. And then just a couple of updates on some of the big local projects from ourselves and our Alliance Trek. The Hikawai Bridge, the tenders for the sub and superstructure closed off at end of June. We're expecting to announce those hopefully by the end of this month. It might be early August once they're confirmed. We've had a bit of unfavourable weather on the temporary road, but that should be complete and open in August. And then the traffic switch will get some comms out to all of your road users in your communities about what can be expected. But that traffic switch is probably going to be fairly low impact, and it'll happen overnight, so people will just wake up and get onto the temporary road while that work's completed. Oh, trigger happy. Mangahoini Gorge, we're at about 95% design complete for the river grade control, drainage upgrades, the stabilisations of the riverbanks, and then the reconstruction of the highway proper. You'll have seen there's still been a lot of other work happening on there alongside the kind of main substantive recovery programme. Consent, thank you, was granted back in May for that additional work, and we're working through the consent conditions with your council at the moment. Local procurement is underway. Really good support from the local community, local contractors and local iwi and hapu. And we've had the clearing of the trees and bat monitoring underway through the course of July. So we're aiming to start full construction proper in August, so not long to go. So Hakanui Strait, formerly known as Nesbitt's Dip, and also Kotahi. Hakanui Strait and Kotahi, we're all due to start construction July and September, I think it is, respectively. We've had really good support from landowners and iwi to just work through some of the complexities, particularly for the Hakanui Strait area, which is a mix of both acquisition and temporary occupation to allow that project to get underway. So yeah, the Hakanui Strait kicks off, it says start date July, but I think it's actually early August that we'll be starting that one off. But great to see that project getting going. It's a really significant resilience but connectivity project to resolve a quite a long-standing issue in both of those areas. Overall for maintenance, just checked in with our local maintenance team in the office as well. They're very much focused at the moment at the programme for the coming construction season. For the 25-26 renewal season, but as you'll know and your officers know, there's still a lot of work has to happen out there in the winter, particularly around the cyclical maintenance, drainage, response to the impacts of rain, potholes, etc. that take place right across the network. The other aspect here that the team are very much focused on is rolling out and ramping up the new New Zealand Guide to Temporary Traffic Management, that risk-based approach. And on that note, you might have seen some coverage in the media over the weekend where the Minister's made some announcements about his expectations for all of us as road controlling authorities to adopt the New Zealand Guide to Temporary Traffic Management on the basis of driving greater efficiencies and greater value for money from our spend on temporary traffic management while balancing good safety outcomes for road users and road workers. So we all have, and your Chief Executive received a letter earlier in the week, very clear expectations of us all in how we adopt this and also dates for full adoption right across all of the contracts. That does apply from a roading perspective to any work that's funded through the National Land Transport Fund. And then just lastly, if you're travelling south, the Waka realignment, there's some information in the agenda about the realignment project, which is still cracking on. But we are at the moment just beginning work to replace the Bailey Bridge with an acro bridge. It'll be the first one, I believe, in New Zealand to be utilised. The main purpose of that is that it has a longer life and it's wider, so it allows better access for oversized, overweight vehicles, essentially, which are one of the major users of State Highway 2 in that section. It will require some overnight closures to lift and shift the bridge into place. And that's been well communicated of late. But just some reassurance, this is to provide better access for our freight partners, but it's not instead of the realignment. The realignment is still progressing. We're working with property owners at the moment and at the final stages of sorting out our procurement strategy for the permanent capital project. And I think that's me. So that was quite short, even for me. But happy to take questions on anything in there or in the detailed pack.
Thank you. I just got a question about the speeding camera one. So the NZTA issue the speeding tickets, and then they use that money for what?
We don't get the money, so it goes back into government. So none of the funds that are collected from the safety camera revenue comes back into the New Zealand Transport Agency. So hypothecated fund back to the Crown.
Oh, so not even to fund your equipment or?
So it's not a revenue kind of generating activity from our perspective. It's
No.
funded through the NLTF, the operations.
Oh, that'll be interesting. Thank you.
And read somewhere it's still with the police to do enforcement.
Sorry?
The police still have to, obviously.
Yes, they're still out with their radars, etc., in their cars to do the enforcement. All we can do is issue the tickets from the fixed cameras or from the mobile. Quite right.
But if it's an infringement, is it going through the police system, even though it's your ticket that you're giving them?
What do you mean?
Because if someone doesn't pay it, then the police chase it, or do you?
No, we have the enforcement. Yeah. We do a lot of enforcement already. Yeah.
I just note the vehicles are different to the police vehicles. I'm guessing they would have been utilised or adapted for the cameras. Just seems a bit of a waste to
Different providers as well under different contracts as well, so it's not that the police had a whole suite of assets that are now redundant. They operated them under a different contract, whereas we have a national contract now in place, and these vehicles are used elsewhere in the world. It's not uncommon for these to be used, and we'll be rolling new ones out. So they will absolutely look different to the standard, and all different colours.
Councillor Elder.
Thank you, Chairman. So Linda, you're talking about road maintenance on our state highways. They're the responsibility of a number of allocated companies. Who is in charge of checking that they are in fact doing the maintenance they're supposed to be doing?
If it's on a state highway, we're the road controlling authority, so that is us, just as you're the road controlling authority for local roads, so that responsibility sits with you on local roads.
Sits with, who's with?
For state highways, we're the road controlling authority, so it sits with us.
Right. Well, an incident happened on State Highway 35 on the 11th of July. The road was completely blocked with water. By midday the following day, it was half blocked with water. There were a zillion red cones out there to warn of one-way traffic. 5 minutes with a spade, and 15 to 20 minutes later, that water was gone. In the time that it was going, the authority was out there laying more cones and going to put up traffic signs, traffic lights for night management of the road. And how can that happen? The drain was completely blocked on the wrong side, on the other side of the road, and no one had spotted it. No one in nearly 24 hours had fixed it. How can that happen?
Clearly, I'm not going to be across the level of information or detail to respond to individual sites or incidents in a weather event. The primary thing, though, that I could say from a general perspective is if it is as a result of a weather event, there are generally multiple sites across the network that have to be prioritised, and the contractors would go out and assess each of those sites for risk associated and try and make that area safe while they then attend to the impacts across the network on a priority basis. As to why a specific culvert or drain would not have been cleared when they arrived, I wouldn't be able to comment. If you do have questions like that, though, in real time, happy to get them, shoot them through in an email or give me a buzz, and we can get you the answer that you need in real time from those that are out on the network. That's not uncommon at all.
Yeah, it's probably more operational question than a regional.
Yeah, I'd need to link back through to our maintenance team in the
It's always operational questions from me, Teddy. Yeah. But these things have to be addressed. This was a 5-minute job, and it's ended up costing this country thousands of dollars because no one had a spade on board their truck or was prepared to look at the other side of the drain. Anyway, thank you.
No other questions? Brings our meeting to a close. finish with Karakia. Kia hora te marano, kia whakapapa pimamu te moana, hei huarahi mā tātou i te rangi nei, aroha atu, aroha mai, tātou ia tātou katoa. Hui